Hello everyone, today we are going to review the EPSMomentum platform. We will begin with the navigation and then take a closer look at the analytics and unique tools that this platform provides. When you first open the platform, you land on the Markets page. This is where you monitor the benchmarks, sectors, and other essential indicators. At the top of the page, you have quick links that lead directly to the stock scanners, earnings momentum, timing momentum, stock drift, power days, and earnings. These are specialized tools designed to give you a clear view of the market, and more of them are added on a regular basis. The first section we see is benchmarks. Here you can track all the major benchmarks around the world represented by their corresponding exchange-traded funds. You have the S&P, the NASDAQ, the Dow Jones, the Russell, as well as gold, Bitcoin, oil, and a wide range of other exchange-traded funds. You can configure this section according to your own needs. For example, you may want to replicate the default monitor or customize it to focus on specific benchmarks. One of the advantages of this view is that you can quickly analyze how these benchmarks have been performing over different time horizons, such as the last 5 days, the last 20 days, or since the beginning of the year. You also have access to volatility data, which provides insight into the maximum possible drawdown and the overall level of risk within a given index. In addition, several indicators show whether a trend is present. The price trend indicator identifies whether the underlying is currently in an uptrend, a consolidation phase, or a downtrend. The price momentum indicator reflects the slope of price movement, showing whether momentum is heading upward or downward. This is extremely useful for evaluating short-term strength. Another key tool here is power days, which we will explore in more detail later. Power days highlight when major market participants are entering the underlying asset and potentially defining a new trend. Finally, the volatility signal provides early warnings. For example, when volatility is weak, it may indicate a calm before the storm scenario. This combination of signals allows you to quickly see which indices are trending up, trending down, or potentially reversing. The page also includes a market news section that gives you a quick overview of the latest developments. While this summary is straightforward, there is also a more detailed news panel with refined tagging, making it a powerful resource for deeper analysis. Next, we move to the sectors view. This works in a similar way to benchmarks, but focuses specifically on the 11 main sectors of the market represented by the exchange-traded funds. Here, you can immediately see which sectors are trending upward or downward and analyze sector rotation in real time. The section displays 11 mini-charts, one for each sector. For example, you can track technology, communication services, utilities, financials, industrials, and consumer staples, and observe how each sector is performing relative to the others. The horizon of the chart can be adjusted. You can look at performance over the course of 1 year, or zoom into shorter periods, such as 15 days. This helps identify which sectors are currently leading and which are lagging. Normalization is available directly on the chart. By moving your mouse across the timeline, you can compare the performance of all sectors since a specific starting point, such as January 1st. For example, you might see that industrials and technology are outperforming, while utilities and real estate are weaker. You can also toggle sectors on or off for a more focused view. For instance, if you want to exclude utilities and real estate and only monitor technology, financials, and communication services, you can easily adjust the display. Sector rotation is especially important for sizing opportunities. You can clearly see when one sector begins to lose momentum and another starts to gain strength. For example, technology may shift from leading the market to declining, while healthcare, industrials, or energy start to move upward. Another powerful feature here is the sector ratio to S&P. On a 60-day basis, you can analyze which sectors have been outperforming or underperforming the S&P. For instance, technology may have been leading over the last 2 months, but in the most recent days, more defensive sectors such as utilities and real estate may be outperforming. This helps you quickly determine where to focus your attention. The next section is stock scanners. You can access this section either through the quick link at the top or directly from the page. This is one of the most powerful features of the EPSMomentum platform, and we continue to add new scanners regularly. The stock scanners are divided into two main sections, the fundamental side on the left and the price action side on the right. On the price action side, you can quickly see the classic metrics such as the most up and most down stocks for the day. You can also filter by market capitalization, large cap, mid cap, small cap, or even just exchange-traded funds, or view all stocks together. For example, if you focus on large and mid-cap stocks, the scanner will show which stocks are up or down, which have the highest trading volume or volume changes, and the volume ratio. This is extremely useful for identifying active stocks. Additional filters include 52-week highs and 52-week lows, and Power Day positive breakouts, which highlight stocks that are breaking out from consolidation. Each stock has a quote panel for monitoring key information. There are two versions, the basic quote, which shows essential metrics, and the extended quote, which provides a more detailed view including charts. You can enlarge the quote using the focus button for a bigger or medium display, and you can resize any screen according to your preference. On the fundamental side, you can track relative strength, very strong price moves, Wall Street favorites based on analyst recommendations, price target changes, and relative weakness. You can also evaluate capital efficiency using metrics like return on equity and return on invested capital. These filters allow you to quickly narrow down stocks that meet your specific criteria. Next, let's move to two of the most well-known scanners on the platform, Timing Momentum and Earnings Momentum. These are considered showcase scanners. Along with Updraft and Power Days, they represent four of the most important tools. Let's begin with Earnings Momentum because the first step is always to select a strong stock with solid earnings trends. For example, if I go into the liquid United States stocks and select all of them, I will see the Earnings Momentum score. This score ranges from -50 to +50 and appears directly on the chart. When I click on a ticker, for instance LPLA, I can see values such as Earnings Momentum 31, Earnings Momentum 13, or Earnings Momentum 3. Anything above 0 is considered strong. Anything above 20 indicates extraordinary momentum. Scores of 20, 28, or 30 highlight the very best stocks based on this metric. Now, let's look at Timing Momentum. This scanner combines multiple indicators stacked together to provide a clear traffic light style signal. A green light indicates favorable conditions, while a red light signals caution. For example, on the chart, you may see timing momentum turning red if some of the trend or price momentum slopes are negative. At the same time, you might see a green light on the fundamentals side, showing strength there. The combination of earnings momentum and timing. Momentum quickly answers two simple but critical questions. Is this a good stock? Is this a good time to enter? This approach makes decision-making simple and visual. No unnecessary complexity, just the clarity of a green or red light. After that, we move to Updraft, one of the most popular features of the platform. It allows you to forecast prices moving forward. We will spend more time on this later. Then we go into the earnings section. Here you can see tags appearing, additional features being added, and the earnings calendar that shows what is reporting each day. This tool is extremely useful, especially during earnings season. Once you have finished with the Markets page, you can continue into the Monitor section. The Monitor section allows you to focus on a specific stock with one main chart in the center, a monitor on the side, and a detailed quote or other data alongside. Let's take Timing Momentum as an example. On the chart, you can monitor earnings momentum. For instance, if we look at Microsoft, we can observe a strong rally that began on the 24th of April. The trend indicator first consolidated and then turned green after the price momentum slope. That is, the acceleration of price shifted upward. Next, the relative market rank, which measures the strength of the stock compared to others, also turned green. At the same time, earnings improved from -12 to -6. On that specific day, the Power Days signal turned green, confirming strength. It was a 7 standard deviation move, which is highly significant. In addition, the exponential moving average 20 crossed above the exponential moving average 50, another strong bullish signal. What followed was a continuation of the rally, demonstrating the importance of selecting the right stock and entering at the right time. If we go back in history, we can see how timing momentum has performed. At the beginning of the rally, 3 or 4 indicators turned green around the price of 323. Later, as some indicators turned red, the rally paused before resuming when several signals turned green again. Power days consistently marked the start of new trends, reinforcing the reliability of these indicators. On the side panel, the quote view provides quick access to essential data, historical charts, and price action. Maximum drawdown, key valuation ratios such as price to earnings trailing 12 months and forward 12 months. Next, the peer comparisons with competitors, including forward price to earnings, long-term growth, and price to earnings to growth ratios. You also see target prices from analysts. For example, Microsoft's consensus rating stands near 1.23, which indicates a strong buy, since a rating close to 1 is best and 5 is a sell. 30 days ago, the rating was 1.28, so sentiment has improved. In the advanced quote section, you gain a much deeper view of a stock. First, you can analyze momentum and timing momentum indicators, which include the relative market rank slope, power days, and volatility. Next, you move to the earnings data, where you see year-on-year quarterly growth of 17%, earnings acceleration of 7%, and earnings per share growth of 12%. After that, you can check how the company performed against expectations. Earnings per share beat forecasts by 26%. Then comes the sales performance, showing 13% sales growth, 1% sales acceleration, and a sales beat of 2.46%. Finally, you see the revision score, which stands at 64% since the most recent earnings release. This clearly reflects that analysts have significantly raised their estimates. Altogether, this advanced view provides a complete snapshot of a stock, from fundamentals to momentum to analyst sentiment. The monitor is also highly flexible. You can add multiple stocks, switch between them, or insert additional charts. For example, you may track Microsoft, NVIDIA, and the S&P index simultaneously by assigning each to a different link color. This setup allows you to monitor several instruments at once without refreshing all charts. Customization is very straightforward, and you can adjust the platform to fit your workflow. To begin with, you can create charts, either light charts or advanced charts, and place them anywhere on your screen. You can also build dashboards. For example, if you're on the Gold plan, you may create Dashboard 1, Dashboard 2, and so on, fully customizing each to your needs. Next, you are able to add or remove columns in the monitor. These can include metrics such as volume today, 1 day ago, 2 days ago, or even the short to average volume ratio. Finally, you can track specific indicators such as days to cover for short positions. For instance, International Business Machines currently shows approximately 4.76 days to cover. This flexibility allows you to design the exact view you want and quickly adapt it to any trading style. Deleting columns is equally simple. Just click and remove any metrics such as price to earnings ratio or earnings per share growth. All key fundamental data remain available for easy configuration. Once the setup is complete, you can save your monitor under a chosen name, such as Test, and it will be stored for future use. Finally, from the monitor, you can move seamlessly into the screener, which works in a similar way and allows even deeper exploration of stocks. Now, let us move to the screener. The screener functions in a similar way to the other tools on the platform, but it offers even more depth and flexibility. To start, the screener is a very powerful tool. It begins with a full set of columns that you can customize quickly. If there are columns you do not need, you can delete them instantly. The screener has 5 main components: category, field, columns, filter, and results. The categories include balance sheet, income statement, price analytics, and others. Within each category, you can select the fields you want. New fields, such as momentum indicators, are added regularly. For example, you can include power days, track the power day trend, or view the number of power days over the last 10 days. Definitions for each metric are available by clicking the definition button. For instance, this can show the number of power days in the last 10 days. You can also insert charts into the screener. For example, you might display the power days signal, remove other signals such as timing momentum, and resize the chart to fit the bottom of your screen. This allows you to visualize recent trends such as a significant drop followed by a bullish push that lifts the stock price. In addition, the screener allows you to examine balance sheet items such as total revenue, total capital, total equity, long-term debt, and short-term debt. You can also analyze income statement items and ratios including debt to equity, which is very useful for evaluating a company's financial leverage. You can set your columns for any quarter or the full year, and then filter based on specific ranges. For example, you may filter stocks with a debt-to-equity ratio between 0 and 100%, reducing the list from 4,100 stocks to 3,075. The screener also lets you identify surprises in the last quarter, such as revenue or earnings surprises, and filter accordingly. Once your setup is complete, you can save your screen. For example, you can name it Test, and the screener configuration will be saved. A recently released feature is the Scorer tool. The Scorer tool evaluates multiple variables simultaneously: earnings momentum, price-to-earnings ratio, and return on equity. And let us say we want the debt-to-equity ratio here. You can assign equal weight to all factors or customize the weighting to your preferences. Once configured, running the Scorer tool presents a ranked list of stocks, highlighting those with the best combination of metrics. For instance, top-ranked stocks might include Cross Therapeutic and Altera Biotherapeutic, with further options to filter by market capitalization or price. The Scorer tool provides an easy way to filter and prioritize stocks across thousands of candidates. You can enlarge panels, freeze columns, or hide specific columns to create a clear, organized layout. You can also refine the results by removing negative price-to-earnings ratios or focusing on positive metrics. This ensures that the highest-ranked stocks meet your exact criteria. From the screener, you can also add stocks directly to a monitor. For example, you can right-click a stock and select Add to Monitor, such as your saved monitor named Test. Once added, you can access news, advanced descriptions, and other relevant data for each stock. The news section is highly flexible and allows you to control exactly what you want to see. You can filter by all stocks, limit the view to the top 500, or focus on individual names. For instance, if I type in AVGO, the system resets to that company and immediately displays all relevant news. From here, you can refine the feed by category. If you want to see only earnings-related updates, you simply select Earnings. If you prefer the analyst view, you can apply that filter instead. Or let's say you are specifically interested in partnership announcements for AVGO, you select Partnership, and the system displays those items. Each result includes the publication date as well as a sentiment indicator: double positive, single negative, or double negative. This provides a clear signal of whether the news is very good, moderately good, negative, or strongly negative. If you want to return to a broader overview, you can clear the filters and switch back to all news. Now I will let you explore the platform further. I can switch to the master view, where I analyze stocks in greater depth. Here, there is another set of tools that I have not introduced yet. We have already seen the chart, which is very powerful. You can see dark pool trades representing significant market activity and observe timing and potential turnarounds. For example, downward revisions in estimates and earnings per share may indicate a less optimistic outlook despite prior rallies. On the side, the earnings analysis section provides detailed insights. You can enlarge the widget to view street-level earnings. For a technology company, recent earnings per share was 1.94, up from the previous 1.65, reflecting a 17% change, a deceleration of 208.39. This indicates that earnings pressure has been growing, but at a slower pace over the last 2 quarters. For another stock, such as AVGO, earnings per share growth was 43%, with acceleration at minus 1.82%, suggesting a flattening trend. You can also view earnings per share before non-recurring items, which offers additional granularity. For technology companies, using standard earnings per share is sufficient, while for non-technology companies, the BNRI metric is appropriate. Additional insights include earnings surprises for the last 3 quarters and key metrics like profit margin and free cash flow. Profit margins have ranged from 30 to 36%, while free cash flow growth has been significant, although slightly lower than the previous quarter. The Estimates Revision Score widget tracks revisions in earnings per share and sales since the earnings release or 90 days ago. You can view the shape of the curve for both metrics, earnings per share in green and sales in yellow, to see trends over time. The widget allows comparison between two data sources such as Zacks and FinHub, giving you the ability to observe consensus or divergences between analysts' estimates. Competitor analysis is also available. You can compare the Estimates Revision Score for earnings per share and sales across competitors, such as AVGO, NVIDIA, TSM, and AMD. Price movements since the earnings date can be tracked, and the standard deviation of estimates provides insight into analyst agreement. The Analyst Estimates Consensus allows you to examine the agreement among analysts regarding a stock's future performance. After reviewing competitors such as AVGO, NVIDIA, TSM, you can compare the revision scores for earnings per share and sales. The consensus is measured using the standard deviation of estimates for each quarter, typically the first 4 quarters. A narrow standard deviation indicates strong agreement among analysts, while a wide standard deviation reflects divergence in opinions. These divergences often spike before or during earnings releases, as some analysts provide estimates that differ significantly from others, sometimes reaching 3 or 4 standard deviations apart. For example, a standard deviation of 0.585 for a specific quarter indicates the degree of consensus. And you can track changes for earnings per share or sales both as percentages and absolute values, using multiple data sources for comparison. All of this data is available in the screener, allowing you to filter on earnings per share changes, revision score change, and actual values. This capability is extremely powerful, as it allows you to monitor fundamental metrics that change within the quarter based on analysts' estimates. Another key feature is the drift forecast, which predicts a stock's 90-day price movement. For example, when analyzing Amazon for the past 20 or 40 quarters, the system examines the first 24 hours of trading after each earnings release and categorizes the price reaction as negative overreaction, positive underreaction, or positive overreaction. Drift A represents the most favorable scenario, where both overnight and first-day moves are positive. This method allows you to evaluate historical patterns and trends across multiple quarters, providing insight into potential price behavior. The drift forecast also shows accuracy percentages for each category. For example, Drift D for TSM indicates a 52% accuracy with an average move of 27% during the quarter. Standard deviation for the dataset helps identify the likely range for the stock price. Seasonal drift analysis averages results across corresponding quarters for up to 40 quarters, providing both post-earnings and seasonal insights. This information is extremely useful, especially for options trading, as it allows you to set strike levels and anticipate potential moves. Finally, the platform offers live chat rooms, segmented by bronze, silver, and gold tiers, allowing interaction with other investors. Support is also available for any questions. Overall, the platform provides comprehensive financial data, advanced analytics, and fast navigation for any ticker. You can slice and dice information, view charts, analyze news, and monitor earnings and drift, making it a powerful tool for informed investment decisions. Click on any ticker to explore, analyze, and navigate quickly. We hope this overview helps you use the platform effectively and make successful investments. Thank you for your time.